Hey everyone, and today's class, our focus is going to be around shoulders, shoulder joint, shoulder girdle, and thorax. So just to remember, your shoulders are really reliant on what your rib cage is doing. So happy rib cage, generally happy shoulders. And we're going to be looking at shoulder joint, which is your ball and socket, and the girdle, which is your clavicles or collarbones and your shoulder blades that sit at the back there, or your scapulars. So let's start off with a body check-in. So a little lift of each heel, place it down in center. I'm going to get you to lift and spread your toes wide. We come down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we've got a nice wide triangular foot here. Just take a moment to come into your body, and you're going to have a sense of your tripod foot. So what does that feel like? Can you feel your first, your fifth, and your heel forming a triangle? Or is yours your second, your fifth, and your heel? Or do you feel like your big toe's not touching, or your fifth toe isn't touching? So whereabouts is your contact? Maybe have a tiny sway right and left, and really feel the pressure change under your feet from one side to the other. And then just see if you can park. So we park evenly in between. We're going to then internally check up, feeling a sense of your shins, your thighs, having a sense of where your pelvis is. You might even want to look down. Is my pelvis forward facing over my feet? Then we come up straight into the thorax. So where does it feel like my rib cage is today? Is it on top of my pelvis? Is it a bit right bent, a little bit left bent? You might be able to see that mine's just pulling down to the right just a little bit there. And then coming up, having a sense of your shoulders. So are your shoulders feeling like they are even? Does it feel a bit twisted? So for my own compensation, my shoulders often feel a bit like that. Not that bad, but that kind of movement. And consequently, my arms feel like they go like that with it. So maybe have a sense of feeling into your body and thinking, are my shoulders level? Do they feel even? Or do I feel like I have a bit of a twist somewhere? Or does one feel higher than the other? Then we come up having a sense of someone holding your head, floating your head up to the ceiling, so pulling it up nice and high. Then when we come into our breath awareness, we're actually going to start in this upper part of the chest. So I'm going to get you to breathe, first of all, centrally behind your breastbone. So we're going to nose breathe always, in through the nose, out through the nose. So take a big breath in and out. And this is right behind your sternum, your breastbone here. Breathing in, breathing out. Then take all of your awareness towards the right-hand side, upper chest, shoulder. And hopefully you can feel just that area of the body moving. Then we're going to do the other side. So breath into the left-hand shoulder, left upper chest. Then we're going to move to a strip panel at the top. Now, as we inhale and exhale here across the whole front of the chest, see if you can feel how your shoulder blades naturally drop down towards the middle of the spine. So we breathe in, we breathe out. And again, just constantly assessing. Good. Let's come down to this lower strip now. So through low ribs, big breath in, breathing out, breathing in and out, and then down into our belly and pelvis area. So breathing, imagine filling up a balloon in your tummy and breathing out. Good. We're going to come focusing on mobility now and around the shoulder blades. So let's start floating them up, floating them down. And I choose the word float very carefully, especially when we come down. We want them to have a sense of just lightly resting on the rib cage. So having a sense of a film of air between your shoulder blades and your ribs. We come then to forwards and backwards motion. And again, see if you can lead this from your collarbones. So maybe imagining your collarbones moving forwards and back like a gate closing or opening. And your arms are relaxed almost having a sense of being paralyzed and just dangling under your shoulders. And you might be able to feel your arms just gently rotating in and out as your shoulder blades move. Good. Then we're going to come into rib cage movement now. So coming through the center of your rib cage, we come into a side to side movement. If your arms are by your sides, they should just be lightly tracing your thighs. And you might be able to see here, I'm keeping my eyes on the horizon, so I actually get some mobility into my neck at the same time. Now, if we take our awareness to our shoulder blades here, they should feel like they're just dangling from right to left, almost like dangly earrings. So as I bend this way, my shoulder blades dangle that way. As I go this way, my shoulder blades dangle that way. Then I come into my rib cage rotation. So on top of myself, twisting one way, twisting the other. And again, this movement, we want to keep pelvis and head forwards. But take a moment to feel what your shoulder blades do. So what we should feel is that one draws back and one travels forwards. So it has this kind of motion as we rotate. So seeing if your shoulder blade converse nicely with your ribs. We come then back to center and we have forwards and back on top of ourselves. Rib cage bends, rib cage lifts. And shoulder blades here come around the rib cage and then they draw back and together. So again, what are your shoulder blades doing as your rib cage moves around? Good. Then we're going to come and look at shoulder stability. So holding your arms forward in a tray giving position. We're going to then look at outward and inward rotation. So our focus here is the arm. So your humerus is rotating in and out. And this is coming from the ball and socket part of the shoulder. Now your shoulder blades want to stay still. So on the back of the rib wall, imagine them separating wide. So as my arms move here, there's no movement in the shoulder blades at all. I'm just looking at stability in the shoulder blades, movement in the shoulder joint. We're going to keep that sense of stability in the shoulder blade now as we slowly float our arms forwards to 90. Maybe thinking of having balloons attached onto your thumb, floating up and coming down. Slowly floating up, slowly coming down. And just notice I'm maintaining my spinal stack. It's really easy to want to do this when we lift our arms up. But this is very much stability at the moment. And seeing that relationship between our shoulders and shoulder blades. Okay, we're going to come to the edge of our mats and coming into our first forward roll down. And focusing again as we come down here on off our axis now, that you're getting a bend in the ribs, shoulder blades come around and the arms dangle. So we slowly curl down, walking forwards onto hands and knees, big wide hands. Coming into a cat and cow, tucking the pelvis under, coming into our cat position, breathing into your ribs, coming back again, spinal extension, tucking underneath. Now our focus, because this is an arm and shoulder bias class, as we come into this extension, which is cow pose, think of your elbows rotating away from each other. So the weight of your hand goes towards pinky finger side. And then as you tuck underneath, the weight comes in towards the thumb side. We tuck back, goes to pinky finger side. We tuck under, goes towards thumb side. And then we slowly find neutral spine, natural curves, coming into scapular setting. Drop the whole weight of the body down and then push up. Dropping down, pushing back up again. And again, note here, spine stays long, shoulder blades move around the rib cage and come back up and away from the rib cage. So we're dropping down, we're coming up. We're going to then create stability in the right arm, in the left, and floating our right arm here. Just alternating right and left. Feel stability through the arm to the shoulder blade, and we should feel a slight transition of weight from one knee to the other. Holding your pause here and then come back to scapular setting. We're on one arm. Shoulder platform will remain flat and level as we lower the rib cage towards the floor. Then we're going to swap other side, arm floats, down and up. Good. Then we come back to center. I'm going to tuck the toes underneath, lift the hips up, and slowly walk yourself back into a forward fold, curling back up, feeling the shoulder blades pouring around the rib cage. Good. Now come and grab your band. And we're going to come now into similar movements, but this time adding some load. So we're going to start with our arms again, giving the gift forwards. I say this because we want our elbows slightly in front of our shoulders. If we're working back here, there's a lot of tension on the tissue at the front of the shoulder. So we hold our band here, wide collarbones, wide shoulder blades, and they're going to remain still. We then come into an open, pause, and return. Open, and just keep moving with your band until you're on a where's my brain? Until we're on a sense of length that's going to challenge your shoulders without you needing to compensate. And we don't need to have this massive movement. Your movement might be small. If your shoulders are a little uneven, your movement might be uneven. But we want to think, can my shoulder blades remain stable on the back of my rib wall? Or are they drawing together when I'm doing this? So we want to feel this working at the back here, at the back of the shoulder. So this is our posterior rotator cuff. We're then going to stay with rotator cuff bias. I'm going to get you to pop the band down, and it's underneath the foot. We're going to hold quite far down the band, so it feels like the band's pulling me over. I'm going to come up again, find wide collarbones, wide shoulder blades, and I'm going to take just a really small lift and do some circles like I'm stirring a pot. If you want to help stabilize yourself here, you can, and then lower. But we want to remain upright and on axis. Float, circle, and lower. Float, circle, and lower. Float, circle, and lower. So we should feel this now sort of more towards the top. Just watch that your shoulder doesn't elevate when you pull, that it remains in place. You can always pop your other hand there just to monitor what's happening. And then lower. Good. We then take quite a wide stance. And the movement we're going to do here is internal rotation. So it comes into the body, might even come up towards the shoulder a little bit. Make sure your band's secure. I'm grabbing it here. Upright stack. Rotate in. Slow release. Rotate in. So thought process here, once again, wide, stable. So this shoulder is not coming around the body, it's staying where it is. This bone, your humerus, is rotating inwards and outwards. I've got work happening here at the front of the shoulder. So I'm working my internal rotation. And again, I want enough tension on the band to feel like I'm doing something. Now, don't forget in these classes, you can pause them at any time and add in more repetitions if you want to. We're going to aim for probably about 10-ish. Keeping really good form. I know for myself, I always have to remember to keep my ribs floating up and open on my right hand side. Good. Now I am going to now swap my hand. I'm going to loosen the band off a bit and then come into outward rotation. So this is swapped onto the other shoulder, different muscle bias, same concept of a nice straight upright body. And I'm then going to extend my arm away. So it's in my peripheral vision, come back in. Rotate, and I'm pushing the arm away from me, comes in bent, rotate, opening out. Now again, please be mindful that your band is the right tension for you. You might want to loosen it off a bit. Feel in your body that you're not doing this and leaning away as you're trying to extend your arm. Should be really nice and stable, stable ribs, stable pelvis. And we're going to finish here, reaching, and just do small circles again. So be quite precise about the shape of your circle also. There we go. Oh, feel the burn. And then come back in. So we're going to swap on to the other side. So pop your band over. Secure it under your foot, and you want to grab a decent amount of tension. Upright stance. I then lift out and I stir the pot. It's very close to my body. This is biasing the first part of your shoulder connection. So you just want it to be a small movement. It's not out here somewhere. Nice and small. And coming back in. Little lift. Stirring the pot. Back in again. Little lift. Stirring the pot. Good. Then we take a big stride out again. Loosen the band off a bit. I've got internal, back out. Elbow stays still, and it is a pivot. And again, you might want to pop your hand here and just monitor that the ball and socket of your shoulder isn't moving forwards. It's not traveling to the side. We're rotating in. You don't feel like your rib cage is being compromised as you pull. You're able to stay on top of yourself. Good. Then once we've done about 10 of these, again, as you well know, I'm pretty rubbish at counting. We loosen the band off. We come to the outer. So we're externally rotating now. Pivoting through the elbow again. Arm in front of us very slightly. We should feel this towards the back. And then we take it into the push. Rotate, push. In, return. Out, push. In, return. Out, push. In, return. Good. So really telescope that arm away from you. Have a sense of really reaching. Out, reach. Come back, return. Coming out, reach away. Coming back, return. Out, reach away. Good. Then we're going to hold it and do a circle again. Holding here, circling around. So getting a nice, pleasant burn, I'm going to say, in this shoulder. Great. Okay. So popping your band back to the side again. We're going to come back into 4-point kneeling and then add a bit of load in that position. So head slowly tilting, rib cage, low back. Again, feel shoulder blades relaxing around the rib cage. We walk forwards into our hands and knees again. Now we're going to come into some small planking. So just check that your pelvis is flat and neutral, so you could balance a drink there, that you have an in curve, an out curve, and an in curve again. So maybe you can imagine that your head is just pressed up against a wall. So I'm imagining here I'm leaning on the wall. I'm going to tuck my toes underneath and push, coming into a small plank. Hover 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come down. And very much got the push sense of my shoulder blades. Fingers are then going to tilt in, so fingers in, heels of the hands out. Go again. So we've got variation here in what our arms are doing. 3, 4, 5, coming down. We then have hands out, heels in, pushing up again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're then going to take our hands really wide, so probably the width of your mat. Off we go again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One hand forwards, one back. So see if you can keep this plank position quite nice and low. So we want to avoid having your bum up in the air, literally hovering. We come down, swap left forwards, right back. Coming up. Good. All right. We're going to come now into some thoracic threading, or threading the needle. Our emphasis, because it's arms and shoulders, we're going to be floating the arm out, thread the arm through, it pulls the shoulder blade, and then the shoulder blade will pull the rib cage. So I want you to feel it in that kind of sequence. So starting here again on 4 point, float an arm up, arm threads under, then that pulls the shoulder blade, then it pulls the ribs. And then we come back to center. We repeat alternating sides, floating. Thread under, arm to shoulder blade to ribs. Coming back again. So feel the sequence of the arm traveling, pulling the shoulder blade with it, pulling the ribs with it. And when you're here, keep reaching. And then come back again. Floating up, coming under, keep reaching, go, 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 go. One more per side. And then after this, we're going to come into some planking again, but we're going to switch from a forwards to a side plank. So coming back to here, you might want to take your hands one handprint forwards. We're then going to pivot around on the knees. So we come into a side plank position. Now when we're here, long line again through the arm, hip pulls forwards. So make sure you've got enough space from your knees to your hands that you're not sitting back in this position or so close that you're quite bunched up. Then we're going to come back 4 point. Rotate the knees. Coming to side plank, coming back in. If you are more advanced and you're watching this class, you can do this on your toes. And I'll just demo that now. So we'll be on our toes, we pivot the legs, we come here, we pivot forwards. Feet first, then the hand, coming back down. If we're on our knees, it's feet first, then the hand. Coming back in. Feet first, then the hand. Coming back in. Now don't forget as well at home, if you've got a little thin mat like I'm working on today, you can double it over to give yourself more padding. So we're actually going to come over, hold our position here and be really focused on this area being strong. We're then going to have 10 leg lifts, so that's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back through front plank. We're on hands and knees. Rotate the feet. Just note my feet come all the way behind me here as I go for my lifts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Back into center again. And then we'll just come back and have a little stretch. Now this stretch is also going to be active. So really push your fingertips away from you as your hips drop backwards. So we're not just resting in extended child pose. We're driving the fingers away, driving the sits bones back towards your heels. Breathing into the back of your ribs. Good. Then we're going to come on to our tummy. Before we go down, I'll just show you what our arms will be doing. They'll be by your sides like that, because we'll be relaxed. We're going to start off just rotating the arms so our palms face our legs. And this is going to set the shoulder blades. And then we'll come back in again. This will then continue and we'll continue to rotate. Shoulder blades will come together. And then eventually they'll come together and we'll lift. So we'll have a back extension. Please be mindful. Your arms will be like this on the floor as you're relaxed. You need to come outwards that way. When your arms come that way, your shoulder blades come together. When your arms go that way, they come apart from each other. And so it'll really hinder you being able to lift your chest. So you might want something under your forehead. You can roll your mat a little bit. I, again, would like something under my pelvis, so I'll keep my mat doubled up. So we'll just start off resting down and just checking in with spinal alignment, taking a couple of big breaths into the back of the rib cage, back of pelvis. So just feel the movement through your body. Good. Maybe a little extra press of pubic bone down into the floor so your spine opens a little lower down. And then we're going to start arms only. They rotate outwards, palms resting by your thighs. And we should now have a sense of width in the collarbones and a sense of sort of snugness with your shoulder blades on the rib wall, and then relax again. Repeating, rotate. We want to minimize here gripping in these muscles on the side of the body, which are called your lats. So see if this movement can be done by the muscles between the shoulder blades. And just note in your body, does this feel even as I do it, or is one side a lot easier than the other? We're then going to slowly continue this. So we rotate, continue rotating outwards. So the thumb leads, the forearm follows. So our biceps are facing outwards away from us. And our shoulder blades now should be drawing back in together. And then we come back again. Nice big relax. Rotate the arms, the biceps face outwards, shoulder blades draw together. We come back again. Let's do another one of those. And if you're not sure you're going in the right direction, do it in the opposite direction and it'll feel quite odd. Come back in. So we're going to start to, if you want to, continue this now. Continue the rotation and it will start to bring you up into a chest lift. Holding here. Coming back down. We rotate the hands, the forearms, the biceps, the chest. And we come back down again. Once more. Rotating. Up we come. And you can hold here if you want to, working, strengthening into the upper back, pubic bone pressing to the floor. Imagine you're flying. Now my eye line is still down at the mat. I'm not looking up ahead of me and cranking into the back of my neck. So I'm lengthening out the back of my neck, coming back down. If you want to, you can always rotate your head from one side to the other as well. Coming back down. One. And then we're going to grab our band. We're staying with back extension, but we're going to bring in a pull with the band. Now again, maybe watch first time. I've got one arm that reaches forwards and really pushes away. My other arm is going to pull in elbow. This is the position. So if you note here, my elbow comes in. I'm not opening my arm back here anywhere. So we reach forwards. I lift up, elbow pulls in. It's like you're swimming freestyle. Come back down again. Pulling back with the other elbow. So one arm pushes away, one pulls back. Release down again. One pushing away, one coming back. Back we come again. One pulling, one pushing. Coming back. One pushing, one pulling. Coming back. And again, you might need your band to be quite close. So you might need to have your hands close together so you can have a decent amount of pull on the band. And this is working into your lats, rib cage, shoulder blade pulling back to opposite sit bone. Once more. And coming back. Good. All right. We come back again into an extended child pose. So sits bones dropping down towards the floor, fingers reaching forwards. Good big breath. Okay, we're going to come now into sitting. So you might want to roll your mat up a little bit so that you're sitting on something that's a little bit higher to help you get mid-pelvic position. So let's start off. The band is going to go around the feet eventually, but let's start off just feeling even weight through our sitting bones. Hands may be on the knees here. We're going to inhale, lift up through the top of your head. Exhale, tilt your pelvis underneath. Roll forwards, lifting up high. Tilting underneath. Coming forwards, lifting up. So again, feeling flexion in the spine, rib cage dropping into meet. And then we come up. And then we're going to add some biceps into this. So band around your feet, holding the band here. The motion is coming up towards your face. So elbows nice and wide, hand in towards your eyes. We curl back. It's a small curl. We're here. We're not back here somewhere. So just a tuck of the pelvis. We pull in 1. Release. 2. Release. 3. 4. We're going to do 10. Exhaling, pulling. Inhaling, letting go. So we want to feel arm muscles working. Is that 10? Let's pretend it is. Good, and then we're going to curl forwards again. Now we're going to cross our band over here, and we're going to come into a pull and twist. So pull your elbow back and rotate. So the sequencing here is shoulder blade, arm, and ribs. Actually, I totally lie. It is arm, shoulder blade, ribs, sorry. Arm pulling, shoulder blades, ribs, return to center. Arm, shoulder blade, ribs, return to center. Arm, shoulder blade, ribs, return to center. So we've got a really nice twist happening, pulling motion. And again, let's take a minute to check in. What are my shoulders doing? Are they moving around nice and level? Or are they drawing up towards my ears as I do this? So I've got a twist. Perfect. So we're going to repeat our biceps, second set. Open the band again. Little curl, pulling up. So again, wide collarbones. Shoulder blades will be wide because we're in our tuck position. Tummy working hard. Long neck, head floating up to the ceiling. And my thumbs are coming up towards my eye sockets. Good. Swapping band. High upright sitting. We come into pull twist. Hand pulls, shoulder blade, ribs. So it's a little bit like our threading that we did earlier on, where it was also arm to shoulder blade to ribs. So getting a really nice rotation. Working the muscles in the waist. There we go. Perfect. We're going to change our position again and come into a half kneeling position. So you might want some extra padding again under your knee. So we're going to have leg forwards like this. Band underneath. And we're actually going to revisit bicep curls again. Once we've done that set, we're going to then come up into a low lunge and we're going to do a kick back with the arms. Now just watch here, my upper arm is near my body and I'm going to push it back like that. So the upper part of my arm stays very much with my rib cage. This time with our biceps, we're going to do alternating. So I'm here, 1, 2. So you'll feel that your rib cage probably wants to side bend. We're going to keep it nice and stable. Lifting up one, then the other. Good. Now we take the leg back, tuck it under, push your heel back and come into a long lunge. From here, we push back. Now this is our triceps, muscles at the back of the arms. If this low lunge is not happening for you today, you can do this same exercise, remaining in a half kneel, not a problem. If you're up lunging, shoulder blades wide, collarbones wide. Good. Then we come down, swapping over. Popping the band underneath, alternating. So I'm going quite low with my band here. Up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then either staying in this lunge and leaning forwards, or popping your foot under, coming into a long lunge, tricep kick back. Good. Pushing back. Should really be working the muscles on the back of your arms. Good. All right. Coming back up into standing. Now, this will be one of our final exercises. Your arm motion. So we've looked at this in the class today. It's the same movement, but we just float the arm to here and it goes up and down. And this is almost like your little lucky happy cat. So it's that motion. So we're going to come, I have split stance. We reach low, we pull up with the elbow, continue with a rotation. Low, elbow, rotate. So we pop the band under the front foot. Find the amount of tension you want. Then reach, elbow, rotate. Reach, elbow, rotate. Can have my hand on my hip if that helps with stability. Then again, my body, my trunk, rib cage, fighting the desire to be pulled into the band. So we're really maintaining upright position, working the back of the shoulder. Now, if I carry on sideways on, my arm is slightly in front of me here. It's not back here somewhere. So it's in my peripheral vision. And for some of you, if your shoulders are tighter, it might be quite far forwards. Really doesn't matter. And just notice with my lunge, it's the long spine lunge, hip traveling backwards. Low, up, open. Low, up, open. There we go. Good. Swapping onto the other side. Band under the lead foot. Again, check, elbow, rotate. Yep, happy with my movement. Low, come up, rotate. Low, come up, rotate. Low, come up, rotate. There we go. Low, coming up, rotating. Last one. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to come back into center and we're going to finish with some mobility back into the shoulders again. So finding spinal stack once more. Having a sense of lifting through the top of your head. We're going to come into some arm spirals. So I'm going to get you first of all to go back and recheck in with shoulder flexion or arm lift. And then we're going to allow the arms to come wide. And again, just feeling through your body. Does that feel similar, right and left? So I know sometimes my left side can feel a bit tighter. We're going to then keep our arms wide. And we're going to rotate again like we did on our tummy. Palms come in, biceps roll down, comes to our shoulder joints. Palms rotate up, biceps up, shoulder joint. So this is just the arms rotating. Then we allow this movement to continue and it comes into the shoulder blades. My shoulder blades lift now. We come back, my shoulder blades drop. So you can see from side on here, shoulder blades are coming up, shoulder blades are dropping down. Now if I continue going, they come up and it brings me into a forward bend of the ribs. On top of myself, I'm not over here. Coming back, draws down the back of the body. Rotating up, pulling up and forwards. Rotating back, dropping back and down. You might want to rest your arms a minute. We can then take this same movement into alternating. 1 up, 1 down, rotate. 1 up, 1 down, rotate. And what we're looking for here is movement around the upper rib cage. So the top of the rib cage will circle around like that. Rotate, rotate. So we're moving around. Good, and you can take this lower as well if you want, if that's more comfortable for you. And that's the same with the arms going in the same direction. That can also be lower. So we come back, we come forwards. And just note here, please, my arms are remaining in front of my thighs. I'm not taking them back here. So they're in front of me, forearm to shoulder blades, back in again. Forearms to shoulder blades. Good. We finish then with a little spine full side bend. So we come over and again, see if you can notice what your arms and shoulder blades do. They should dangle quite nicely from side to side. Feel them drawing again like this as you come over. And we'll finish with one nice forwards roll, curling down through your body, rib cage tucks, arms relax, dangle down. So we'll hang down here, take a big breath into the back of the body, slowly curling up. Good, and then a quick internal check-in again. Does my body feel different? So now I've done this session today. My shoulder girdle was like that at the start. Feels a lot more forward facing now. And my hands feel like they're in a neutral forward facing position. So well done me. All right, well done guys. Enjoy the class.